Well, hello, hello, hello. Do you wish you had more energy? Listen to this show to discover 7 simple strategies to help beat fatigue. Hi, I'm Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer and natural pain relief expert. I worked as a real engineer for 30 years until pain from rheumatoid arthritis led me to hang up my hard hat and follow my heart. Now I blend my backgrounds in science and spirituality to teach people how to tap into the power of their mind, their body, and soul to release pain naturally. Wellness by Design is a show dedicated to helping people achieve wellness not by reacting to the world around them, but by intentionally designing a life based on what their own body needs. In this show, we explore the practices, methods, and science that help release pain and inflammation naturally so you can live your best life pain-free. So today's show is called Simple Ways to Beat Fatigue. And I'm so excited that you are here. Because fatigue, it's a problem I hear a lot from my clients and people that I work with. It kind of goes hand in hand with pain a lot of times. And so it's a real common problem. I mean, a lot of people complain of feeling tired and sluggish and run down. They got no energy. They feel like their get up and go has got up and gone. And it is a real problem. It tends to be a problem as people age. It's also a problem with people with physical illness and also people with mood disorders. So they kind of go along together. There's this emotional component as well. So we're not talking about like the tiredness you feel after you've had a workout or tiredness you feel at the end of the day. Those are normal types of fatigue. But true fatigue is defined as an unusual and overwhelming tiredness that cannot be overcome by simply resting. Okay, so it's not the same. With short-term fatigue, just from exercising, or maybe you didn't get a great sleep, or you're tired at the end of the day, then you are back to your regular self with a little bit of rest. When you've got persistent fatigue, you can really feel like it's taken over your life. And I know what this was like when my pain and inflammation was at its worst. I had no energy at all. I remember coming home from work and all I could do is just lie down for the rest of the evening. And by the end of the week, I would be so tired. And I knew it wasn't normal because I was always a really energetic person. And thank goodness I'm back to my old energy levels now. That's not to say I'm not tired at the end of the day, because I am, because I have very full days. But I don't have this, this chronic fatigue. So, all right, how common is fatigue? Well, as I said, it's really common. We tend to see it as people age. People do complain of having more fatigue, like grandma needs to have a nap more often, that kind of thing. Also, according to this international study, 25 to 30 complaints to primary care physicians, so people just going to their family doctor, 25 to 30% of those complaints list fatigue as a symptom. So in general, it tends to affect women more than men. Great. It's also more prevalent in low socioeconomic populations, which is interesting. And as I said as well, increases with increasing age. So what causes fatigue? Obviously age, but illness and also stress, anxiety, any depression. So some mental health conditions can cause fatigue. So if you, and also it goes along with illnesses. So as I mentioned, I had rheumatoid arthritis. Guess I still have it. I'm pretty low symptom, but it goes with medical conditions. So rheumatoid disorders in general, multiple sclerosis, heart conditions, cancer, diabetes, and even food allergies. All of these have fatigue along with them. So some medications also can cause fatigue. I bet if you look at the list of possible side effects of medications, if you have any, then fatigue could be listed as one of the side effects. So our energy is made by our mitochondria. I've talked about mitochondria in the show before. The mitochondria are the little power plants that are in nearly every single cell in our body. Some of our organs have, the cells in those organs have more mitochondria than others, like the real energy producers, or the energy users, I should say, like the brain, the eyes, the liver, the heart, and so on. So some of our cells have more mitochondria, but so all of our energy actually comes from these mitochondria. They are the ones that make the energy. So how do they make energy? They take the oxygen that we breathe, and they take the they take the food that we eat, and they convert that into energy. So when we get mitochondria dysfunction, then we can have less energy. And so mitochondria dysfunction happens, well, with illnesses. It happens as we get older. It happens also with trauma. So if we've had some trauma, and it doesn't even have to be severe trauma, trauma can actually reduce the production of energy in the mitochondria. So poor air quality, because of course oxygen is one of the raw materials, poor food, exposure to molds and alcohol use, poor sleep, lack of exercise, all of these things can cause the mitochondria to make less energy. And then if they're making less energy, we feel fatigued. So what can you do to lower fatigue? There's actually a lot you can do. Most of these are lifestyle factors. So I'll go through 7 of them. That's what I'm going to go through today, but there's a lot more than those. But these are general lifestyle factors that are related to nutrition and movement and sleep and stress management, and also management of our mental state as well. So establishing new habits to support the mind and the body can go a long way to helping you lessen fatigue and create more energy again. So here are 7 strategies I'm going to give you. All right, strategy number 1, hydrate. This is one of my favorite topics. If people just drank enough water, it would solve so many of their health problems, and including energy. So hydrate. We need water for pretty much all the functions in our human body, including the transportation of nutrients. So if we can eat the best diet, but if we're not drinking enough water, the nutrients aren't going to get to where they need to go. And then the mitochondria won't have them for producing energy. And then we don't have as much energy. So about 45 to 75% of our body weight is water. And when we are low in fluids, we can feel tired or weak. Another thing that happens is that the blood tends to retain sodium, and it thickens up the blood, and then the heart has to work harder. So when your heart is working harder to circulate blood around the body, well then, that's energy going to pumping that around instead of us having energy to do the things we want to do. So a general guideline for water, I know I've said this before, but it always bears repeating, is to take your body weight in pounds, divide that by 2, and then that is the number of ounces of water you should drink that day. So for example, 200 pounds, you drink 100 ounces of water. And so work out, how many glasses, what your like an average 8-ounce glass, 8 times 12, I think, right? Yeah, it's 96. So that's about 100. So you would need 12 glasses of water a day as a guideline. Obviously, if it's hot or if you're working out and sweating a lot, then you would need to drink a little bit more. So my suggestion always too is to track your water. So here's something that I do. I put rubber bands on my glass, and then as I drink a glass, I will lower it down. So I've already had some water today. So what I've got left to have is three of these glasses. So there's 3 rubber bands left in there. And when I finish this one, I'll shift it down. It really helps me see and remember what I've drank, because it's hard to remember. It's like, was that my second, or was that my 7th or 8th glass of water today? I'm gonna have a sip. Have a sip with me. Okay. Second guideline, or second way you can fight fatigue, is to have regular routines. So our bodies, including the mitochondria that produce our energy, our body thrives on routines, these circadian rhythms. Like pretty much every mammal, or not even mammal, every animal, an insect even, has circadian rhythms tied to the 24-hour clock. Our bodies thrive on that. So keeping regular rhythms and cycles is really important for our health, but for our energy, for producing energy. So some things you may not think about is things like even your timing of your meals. So we know sleep is one of them. Have regular routines for your sleep. When you go to bed, when you get up. Have regular schedules for when you eat. Again, our body, our digestion, it works on a cycle. All of the production of melatonin and all of these other the hormones and so on are all done on a rhythm, on a cycle. So the more we can have routines, I know it sounds kind of dull, but it's good for your body. And if you want more energy, give it a try. I bet if you do this for a week, you will notice a difference. Let me see, what else have I got written here? So we're setting regular routines for waking, sleeping. Oh, exercising as well. So setting regular exercise routines is really good for your body as well, and for helping you produce energy. Okay, that's one. So that's 2 points we've covered now. So the third one I'm giving you is to get better sleep. Obviously, when we sleep better, our bodies get rejuvenated and we can produce more energy. We will have more energy. So just a simple thing, I've already mentioned having the regular routine, but also a focus on quality. So especially, this is June in the Northern Hemisphere, this is like the brightest month of the year. Maybe you need to get blackout curtains so that you can sleep longer, or just maybe if you can't do that, you wear a sleep mask so that the sun, when it's rising at 5:30 a.m. isn't waking you up. Also, make sure that the room is the right temperature, not too hot, not too cold. And also that you've got good airflow in your room. So perhaps you might have a window open, unless the sound is going to disturb you. Speaking of that, if sound is disturbing you, maybe you want to wear some earplugs. You also want to think about not getting a lot of blue light, especially before in the last hour to 2 before going to bed, is especially critical. So the problem with blue light is it mimics daytime light. So if we're getting exposure to blue light in the evenings, then it's kind of like it's sending a message to our brain, oh, it's daytime. So the melatonin production, and melatonin is what makes us sleep, melatonin production stops. So blue light is emitted from our screens and devices, fluorescent lights and so on. So you want to you might want to wear something like, I'll show you mine, blue light blocking glasses. Okay, so these are orangey colored. You can also get some that aren't orangey, and they can also block light as well. Like these ones are actually blue light blocking glasses. You can see they got a little bit of a blue tint when I move my head around. They're not as good as the orange ones, but they still do a pretty good job. I'm doing a course right now that starts on Tuesday nights tonight, starts 9:30 at night, and it goes on until 12:30. Now, my bedtime is usually 9:30. Because of this course, I can't stick with my regular routine. So I'm doing what I can. So I will wear my blue light blocking glasses as much as possible during the course, because it is all online. So try to do those things. You can also dim your lights after dark. A lot of devices now have settings on them where you can put the dark feature on in the evening, so it lowers the intensity of the light. So there's a bunch of things you can do there to limit your exposure. And just don't eat before going to bed in the last hour or two going before bed, because then your body is like in digestion mode and it's not going to be able to sleep. So not eating after suppers, or supper, dinner, whatever you want to call it, is a great strategy for getting better sleep. It's also good for your digestion. All right. Tip number 4, spending time in nature. Spending time in nature. There's a whole lot of scientific evidence, a growing body of evidence on the benefits of mental well-being in natural environments. I forget the Japanese term, but it means forest bathing. Another 2017 study reported the benefits of nature therapy, including improved immune function, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, depression, anxiety, mental relaxation, and feelings of gratitude. So all of these things help reduce the feelings of fatigue. So spending time in nature also can help you sleep better, and then you'll have more energy. Another thing you can try is going barefoot. So having some time where you actually make bare contact with the ground. When we do that, the earth actually gives us some negative ions that help counteract. Well, we're meant actually to be in touch with the earth. We weren't really designed to wear shoes, for hundreds of thousands of years. People did not wear shoes. And they probably didn't get as sick as we do now. But anyway, so walking around barefoot can help. It's called grounding or earthing. Can help literally ground you, so you are not carrying as much negative electricity. Well, I guess it's probably positive. It's too positive. So spending time barefoot on the ground can really help as well. Okay, tip number 5, move your body, but don't overdo it. Don't move it too much. So we do know that there's a relationship between getting some physical activity and with energy and fatigue, that when you get some physical activity, you have a reduced risk of experiencing low energy and fatigue compared to people who don't move. I used to find too that if I didn't get exercise, I didn't sleep as well at night. So then you get this other fatigue from not getting enough sleep. But there are other studies that say if you get too much exercise, that's associated with excessive fatigue. So what they say in this one study is that 10 to 20 hours per week of exercise training is associated with increased fatigue in people with medical conditions. All right, so this isn't everybody, but if you've got some kind of medical condition, you don't want to over-exercise. It's too much for your system. Your body is trying to heal this medical condition, so you need to have energy for that. And so bottom line is that some physical activity is good. If daily physical activity is great, especially if you can get out in the morning, get the sun on your eyes in the morning. Like not literally the sun, don't stare at the sun, but sunlight in your eyes. But if you've got a medical condition, then don't do too much. So what they talked about there was the 10 to 20 hours per week. You want to keep it below that. Monitor yourself. Keep track. Note how you're feeling, and honor and respect that. Okay, so next thing. Now, I'm a little biased, but I would say do some yoga. I'm doing yoga teacher training now. I've been doing daily yoga, I think, for a couple of years, I would say, and I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. And it is a fantastic practice. It combines, it's a combination of mind, body, soul work. It combines physical activity with stretching and strengthening and meditation and breath work. All of these are combined just so good for your body. There's plenty of evidence showing the positive therapeutic effect, even on people with illnesses. In fact, let me see. Yeah, so let's see. I'm coming to this part. I got some studies here, so I'm reading from those. So these studies show that yoga can reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and chronic pain, improve sleep, and enhance overall well-being and quality of life. And one study of seniors found improvements in overall sense of well-being, energy, and fatigue over a 6-month period of regular yoga practice. And I think from that study, from what I remember, it was just a weekly yoga practice. So really good for you. Another study of 173 cancer patients found that those who attended weekly 60-minute yoga therapy classes had a reduction in general fatigue, physical fatigue, and depression over an eight-week period. And other studies have shown similar results for other conditions, including chronic fatigue syndrome, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis. It's really well studied. So, I really recommend doing a yoga class. And actually, there's tons of stuff online too. You don't even have to go to a class. If you look on YouTube, there's loads as well. Or you can join my wonderful Find group. I do a weekly class for them. Okay, so eat for energy. So eat foods that will be energizing as opposed to eating foods that will be depleting your energy. So there's no this isn't rocket science that processed foods and packaged foods deplete your energy, because there's so many different toxins and things that our body doesn't recognize in there. It has to work really hard. Like we don't have a meter on our liver to see how hard it's got to work to deal with those foods. But I know I've heard people say over and over again, like they eat fast food and they're exhausted, they're so sleepy afterwards. If you're sleepy after you eat some of those foods, it might be a sign telling you that your liver is working too hard. Also, some oils, like I've talked about the oils before that cause cause oxidative stress in your body, and that they inhibit the performance of the mitochondria. So that's oils like canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, corn oil. All of those, they sound good because they're natural. It sounds natural, but they're actually heavily processed oils. They're already oxidized before we even put them in our body. So reduce or eliminate processed packaged foods and oils, and instead eat a diet that's rich in quality proteins, quality fats. So the quality fats are things like coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil. Those are all great oils. Colorful fruits and vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables, which are high in iron. So avoid foods that contain toxins, pesticides, and hormones that require more energy for our liver to deal with them. Organic, wild, grass-fed and pastured is always better. Sometimes hard to get depending on where you live. So do the best you can with what you have, right? Just try to do the best you can. Anything that you do, any decisions you make that are better in terms of your food and nutrition are going to have a positive effect. Okay, so you can't go wrong with making a better decision with food. Always a good idea to eat seasonally and locally grown too. It'll be more packed with nutrients. I'm growing some vegetables now in my greenhouse and in my garden, and when I eat those, I just feel like they're just giving me so much energy. And like compared to the stuff that I'm getting in the supermarket, I live in Newfoundland, and a lot of our produce comes from off island. So by the time we get it, it's days and days and days old, right? So it's not going to have the same nutrition value as things that are freshly cut and freshly picked. So there you go. 7. So just to summarize them and go through them again. So number 1 is hydrate. Number 2 is have regular routines. Number 3, get better sleep. Number 4, spend time in nature. Number 5, move your body, but not too much. Number 6, practice yoga. Number 7, eat for energy. So would you like to have a free ebook? They're the Health Means organization that I'm a member of. They are giving away this. I'm just going to share it. There we go. Share the link to it, and I'll put the link in the show notes as well. So you can go to this site, and they got a free ebook you can download now. It's 20 ways to fight fatigue. So a little bit more than what I shared with you today. And also when you do that, you can also get free access to the fatigue and autoimmunity workshop. It actually started yesterday, but yesterday's are still there. So it's running all this week, June 14th to the 20th. It's with Dr. Tom O'Brien. If you've been looking about anything to do with autoimmunity or gluten, you've probably heard of Dr. Tom O'Brien, and also Dr. Evan Hirsch, and his area of specialty is fatigue. I've had him as a guest on Wellness by Design before. So they're running this free workshop this week if you wanted to do it. So when you go to that link I shared you can also get access to the workshop. All right, I always end off the show by saying what's one thing you can do today to improve your health. And my tip for you today is the water. Drink half your body weight in pounds as ounces every day. Now, if you are hardly drinking any water, build up to that. You don't want to have too much of it all at once. Spread it out a bit. Don't drink it with meals because you kind of don't want to dilute your stomach enzymes and your stomach acids. So drink most of it not at mealtime. And as earlier in the day is better as well. Like just get up in the morning and have 1 glass of water as soon as you get up. I do that I just take a glass of water to bed with me. That way, if I wake up and if I'm thirsty during the night, I got it there. But then first thing in the morning, very first thing I do is drink that water. Our brain has a system called the glymphatic system, which kind of our lymphatic system and the glymphatic system are kind of like the sewer pipes. So when you drink the water, it helps drain away that because the glymphatic system does its work at night while we're sleeping. There you go. Whole lot of tips today. So I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment. Let me know if you got something out of it. What thing you're going to do. So maybe you're already drinking the water. Maybe there's something else you're going to do today. I'd love to hear what you're implementing and if you find that it's helping you with your energy. All right. Have a great day, my friends. Enjoy, and I will see you on Wellness by Design again next week. Bye.